Hello, hello, nerds, and welcome back to another episode of
Video Nerds.
I am the ManNerd, and I'm here with
StephenShred. As always, that is me.
That is him. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little different here. This is a idea that we both came up with. We molded it into something that's going to be super cool. So this is called Late to the Party. So StephenShred and I are both picking shows for each other to watch, but only the first episodes to kind of see if it gets the other person into that series. So we got to pick some genres. So I picked what I'm going to pick for Steven, and he picked what he's going to pick for me. The first one that we're going to talk about, of course, Steven picked anime because that's who he is. He picked Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, the 2009 series. Now, of course, I haven't watched it. I've watched a lot of anime so far in the last year, but haven't gotten into this one yet. Now, this one, it was a lot of fun. This first episode, I liked it. It was cool, had cool characters. It gives you enough information to want to know more, and you really didn't need to know what came before, which I'm sure a bunch of stuff came before this. Am I right, or is this just its own story?
Basically its own story, like watching the series, but it pretty much just puts you immediately into it in the beginning, and then we'll slowly start explaining things.
Yeah, I definitely got that, which it just throws the main characters at you right there. And then I'm like, wait, should I have watched the series before? But then it gives you just enough to like, okay, that's cool. All right, so we're going to make this one quick because, it's just one episode. And the biggest question that Steven's going to ask me when I'm done talking about this is, will I continue this? So let's get into it. Let's go for spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Okay, so this is basically a world of alchemists, magicians. They have different skills. They can do different things, different kinds of alchemists. This one focuses on a bad alchemist, a ice alchemist that can pretty much turn water into ice, or he can boil it. So he's pretty powerful. And our two main characters, which is Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric, they are, well, Edward Elric is the Fullmetal Alchemist, so he controls metal. But his little brother is actually a suit of armor, and you get a little bit of backstory in that. Apparently they did human transmutation, alchemy, and they weren't supposed to, and his brother's gone somehow and now stuck in the armor, and he's stuck in the human body. It's kind of weird but cool. But when it comes down to it, he is powerful as shit. It was awesome to see him just kind of let loose. He was very cocky at first. Bad guy gets away, and then later on, big old battle scene. There's some other alchemists, and it was just a good time. And I would say, all in all, I loved it. And this series, you know what? Ask me the question, man. Ask me.
All right, you gonna be watching more?
I will. I will finish this series for sure. 100%.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, he there's one thing which, it's first episode, but he's not the Fullmetal Alchemist because he controls metal. It's because he has a metal arm.
Okay, gotcha.
And a metal leg. But
see, I didn't pick that up.
Yeah, it's weird the way that they do it because they throw you into like the battles and everything immediately in the first episode, and the second episode is where they actually give you the backstory, which could be better because, sometimes giving the backstory in episode 1 makes things boring.
Yeah, and this one was like full of action, which was very cool.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a longer one. I believe it's over 60 episodes, but man, the story and everything, like the list that I gave you wasn't just like anime, it was things that got me into anime, like heavily got me into anime. So this was one of them, and I remember I was told to watch this because I forgot what it was. Somebody made a reference to something. One of the main villains of the series that you'll be introduced to later, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So like, oh, you need to watch Fullmetal Alchemist, And I was like, okay. And then I started it, and they're like, oh, wait, you need to watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Because Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood have important points that they both meet. But then Fullmetal Alchemist, I believe, was finished and put out before the manga was finished. So it has a really weird ending, and it has really weird parts. So Brotherhood is like the one to watch. And it got me hooked on anime. So I was like, you know what? I've been introducing you to anime this last year. Let's get you into the stuff that got me started in anime.
Yeah, let's go into the classics. And that's what this is all about. This is about sharing what brought you into certain genres, or something you just really liked or hold dear to your heart. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, which another one would have been I was already into anime at the time somewhat, but Attack on Titan like full on pushed me in, but it's a little cheating. I think out of all anime, Attack on Titan has the best first episode ever. It would be very hard to beat Attack on Titan's first episode.
Well, I'll have to watch the first season with you, and then we'll just have to do a review on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's ending pretty soon.
Ooh, nice. Okay. All right, so now it is time. It is time for you to jump into the pick that I made for you, since I've always been into live action, sci-fi, fantasy type of stuff. Now, I picked this one. I liked it a lot. I went through it. But this one, I picked it because of one reason, and you know why.
Because of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked about it on a previous episode. I will deal with a lot just to see some dinosaurs, which this wasn't like a bad show. So Mandrew had me watch Primeval, which is a British show from I believe like the late like 2000s, like I think it's like 2007 or 2006.
Yeah, it was
like
2007 to 2011.
All right, yeah. Which it's so weird, like being that I don't really watch like television anymore. I just watch streaming sites and YouTube. It's weird seeing the cuts where the commercial breaks go.
It's so weird, yeah.
Because all of a sudden, like, it's just like dun dun, and then like the fade, and then they fade back in. Yeah, so that was like really like jarring, and it's like, oh, okay, this is where the commercial went.
Yeah, going back in time to when commercials were a big thing.
Yep, and speaking of back in time, so the gist of the first episode is it introduces you to, well, first off, shows you dinosaur immediately. So I was like, hell yeah. Then it introduces you to two, are they paleontologists?
Yeah, I would say paleontologists, and have other expertise too, but basically that main character is a professor, but also, you know, paleontologist, archaeologist, that sort of thing. Yeah,
because I feel like they never full on said it, but the fact that they're coming to him about these things, I was just like, well, I'm gonna guess. And then they talked about him being a professor, but so they introduce us to main characters, and the whole thing is that there's all these weird sightings of dinosaurs. We get introduced to a little kid that nobody ever believes. You know, when the little kid says there's dinosaurs or something, I've talked about it before. If a little kid's saying, hey, there's a monster, there's a ghost, there's this, there's that, just go check it out. And it was weird, though, because watching the first episode, I had seen this show before, but it was a very, very, very long time ago. Like, I don't even know how long ago I would have seen this, but I remembered the dinosaur. I remember this. There's a scene where somehow the dinosaur gets into a school and they just don't notice it until the little kid's like, there's a dinosaur in the hallway.
Like, no, there's not. And then, of course,
the teacher doesn't. Yeah, the teacher doesn't believe him. She's like, no. And then he's like, don't go in the hallway, and go in the hallway, and there's a giant dinosaur there. I remembered that part, and I remembered one of the characters. I believe her name was it Abby? The one with the short white hair? The
pretty girl. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember her for sure. But it was pretty cool. They have the dinosaurs are not like hidden animals or anything like that. It turns out that there's anomalies where we're able to go back and forth between the past. So they're going through these anomalies and popping up over on our side. And then the main character, Nick, I believe.
Yeah,
and then
Nick
Steven
Cutter.
was the other one, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So Nick had his wife disappear quite a while before we start the show. And it turns out maybe she was going through one of these anomalies. They find some evidence, and they always have the classic scene where, like, when it comes to like stuff like this, like the government's in on it, they send the government agent with the person to go check it out, and then the person that they send, the expert, is always like, I don't want this guy with me. It's like, why? He has a gun.
And professional. Come on.
Yeah, that's
I
like
feel
one
safer.
that's one trope that I've never understood, because it's just like, what? Why? Just take him with you. He's
Like,
literally
you're a
just
paleontologist, not a freaking soldier or survivalist.
yeah. It's like he's literally trained to kill things, and there are things over here that'll probably try to kill you. So yeah, you should be fine with it. But it was pretty cool. Like the character, or not the character, the creature design, the dinosaur. That is some dated CGI, but still fun.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty accurate for the time with the CGI, but yeah, those British shows and the sci-fi shows like that, they always did the cheesy CGI. But you know, compared to some stuff nowadays, it's actually still pretty decent.
I mean, we just reviewed The Flash, so
Yeah, and this is way better than the Flash CGI, and that's from 2007.
yeah. But it was pretty good. The whole thing that hooks me is dinosaurs. I don't think I watched more than the first episode back when I did watch it, because like I said, I only remember those things, and I remember there's like they have like a little buddy, a little flying lizard named Rex.
Yep. Yeah.
I definitely remember that, but I don't think I watched more of the show when I was younger, because they had a preview of the next episode, which was like a giant centipede. For sure, I've never seen that. So I believe it's your time to ask me.
Will you continue watching it?
Yeah, I would definitely have this be like a, if I'm working, just decide to put on some dinosaur stuff.
Nice.
Would not mind
And
that
one
at
cool
all.
thing about this is it's 5 seasons, and then they have a spin-off after that.
With the same characters, or?
Well, they kind of pop in, a couple of them, but it's a brand new cast of characters, and it takes place in the U.S., and it's like this, yeah, it's kind of like this CEO of this tech company, and he discovers the portals, so he tries to start his own team type of thing.
So it's literally like Doctor Who and Torchwood?
Pretty much. But that was only 1 season. It wasn't that good. Called Primeval New World. It was a sci-fi show on Sci-Fi Channel. It was all right, but they stopped it after 1 season.
Yeah, might have to check that out.
All right, well, let's give some ratings here. So first episode, Fullmetal Alchemist. I've had some banger animes. I've been doing a lot of D20s. I'm going to say that this is a D12 right now.
Yeah.
First episode. Just because, we'll see how it goes. There's a lot more episodes to go.
I, just for very specific things, will go D10, because some of the acting is just so goofy that it took me out of it a little bit. And like some classic tropes that I'm a little over, but definitely willing to continue it. Check out some more dinosaurs, see what they throw in there. Maybe I get some velociraptors. Maybe we get some cool flying dinosaurs. We'll see.
Big old T-Rex. Gotta have a T-Rex in a dinosaur show.
Yeah, I think it's like against the Geneva Convention to like mention dinosaurs and not have a T-Rex.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, this is one of those shows that was around a time that I was going through Doctor Who's and going through a bunch of different British shows, so I was already used to it. It does get a little getting used to because the acting's different. Even the filming's different. It's like seems not filtered like American stuff is.
Very grainy.
Yeah.
That was another thing that kind of bothered me, but I figured maybe that stops after a certain amount of time. Or maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it probably does later on, but it's also how they had to convert the series, which was basically DVD. It was never made for actually streaming.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
All right, well, until the next one, we'll be late to the party with a couple other shows. We've got some coming up. Why don't you tell them about the one that I chose for you?
Yep. So Mandrew chose a classic, one that I have heard about so much but never actually watched. Mandrew's going to have me watch Firefly.
Oh, yeah. The classic. Space Cowboys, basically.
And then I'm having Mandrew watch the actual first anime that I ever watched, which is Inuyasha.
Which I have no idea what it's about at all. So I'm going in this completely fresh.
Definitely on the cheesier side, but it's fun and it's real nostalgic for me. So I'm guessing we'll have similar feels for the nostalgia of these two series.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.